Welcome to the Royal Daily Tea YouTube channel. Please be advised all of my videos are for entertainment purposes only, based 100% on my own opinion, my own theories, and my own research. All of my information can be found on the public domain and falls under the fair use guidelines. Please feel free to do your own research. Hi everyone, it's Michelle and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. Happy Thursday. I just want to say thank you to every single person on my channel who went over to Rev T's channel and subscribed. I had posted earlier today that I found this really cute YouTuber who puts out pro-positive royal family content, and she was trying to get to her first 1,000 subscribers. She had 944,000 and now she has well over 1,000. So thank you guys so much for going over and showing her some love and support. That is what this community is all about, is about helping and uplifting one another. And I really do have the best subscribers. You guys are amazing. You always support me and my friends. Whenever I tell you about a business, you guys always go over and purchase. You guys are just amazing. I just want to wrap all of you up in bubble wrap and give you a really big hug. But just remember, when you go to those other channels, don't forget about me over at the Royal Daily Tea. I'll be very sad if you leave me. But we have a lot of juicy Royal Daily Tea to get into today. So sit back and relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea. So the very first story that has come out, of course, is the big news that's happening over in the UK. Boris Johnson has given his resignation. Now, there was a really big hashtag that was trending over on Twitter. They were calling "Activate the Queen." And what that trending phrase means in the wake of Boris Johnson's resignation. Now, a lot of people have been calling for him to step down for a while. It wasn't due to political issues, it was due to his behavior during the lockdown. Apparently, he threw some parties and he did a lot of things that made people extremely upset. They were more upset about his character than I guess his politics. People had lost faith in him. He had up to 50 people who worked under him resign recently. That's not a good look. That is a mass exodus. So a lot of people in the UK, my heart goes out to you. I'm sure you guys are freaking out that you're having to wait for this election for a new prime minister. I could only imagine if the president of the United States was like, you know what, I'm out, and he resigned. That would just be huge right now in America. We have so many political problems as it is, so I can only imagine what you guys are going through right now. Now, after Boris Johnson announced he was stepping down from his role as the British Prime Minister, many people were wondering, would Queen Elizabeth have to play a role in the UK politics? Now, amid Johnson's announcement on Thursday, the phrase "Activate the Queen" began trending on Twitter, and this originated from a correspondent by the name of Mikey Smith claiming that if Boris Johnson would not have resigned from his post, they would have to, quote, "activate the Queen," which actually is a real thing that would happen in politics, meaning that Her Majesty would have to make the decision to remove him from his post if he didn't voluntarily resign. So I guess there is some kind of rule where Her Majesty would have to go in and make that final choice. But we know that Johnson announced this afternoon that he was in fact resigning. So Queen Elizabeth was not put in that difficult position in a political storm. Now, Johnson was elected to Prime Minister in July of 2019, and he plans to stay on board as the caretaker Prime Minister until the Conservative Party can hold an election in the fall. He will continue to perform his duties until he has a replacement. Now, Her Majesty, one of the main duties that she does is she is to approve the recommendations for the new Prime Minister moving in office, and this is where she asked the Prime Minister to build a government in her name. But a lot of people were really enjoying the "Activate the Queen," kind of like "Release the Kraken" over on Twitter. It was a really fun thing that was being passed around. One person said, quote, "Listen, activate the Queen. Sounds like something you would yell during the final episode of an anime, and I have only the utmost respect for that." Another person said, "Why is Activate the Queen trending? Are we playing chess?" Well, apparently in the world of politics, she could very well be. Now, while the Queen's role is mainly ceremonial these days, it is technically within her power to dismiss a prime minister. However, it's extremely rare that the Queen would do so. Now, the last monarch who actually sacked a prime minister happened back in 1834 when King William IV dismissed Lord Melbourne in favor of Sir Robert Peel. But when Peel resigned in 1835, the king had to reinstate Lord Melbourne to the position. Now, as head of the state, Queen Elizabeth has to remain neutral with respect to political matters. Johnson is her 14th prime minister during her historic 70-year reign. So Her Majesty the Queen could literally welcome her 15th prime minister this year. How crazy is that? The very first prime minister that served under Queen Elizabeth was Winston Churchill, who served from 1940 to 1945, and then again in 1951 to 1955. Very interesting. So I wish everyone in the UK positive vibes. I can only imagine the turmoil that you guys are going through politically, but I'm sure everything will be fine. So there's been some updates apparently with Prince Harry and his court proceedings with the Home Office. Prince Harry faced tensions with royal officials as security downgraded. Now, apparently they've started the court session this week that's not publicly being held. And in it, the Duke of Sussex faced significant tensions with top aide to the Queen involved in downgrading his security, is what his lawyer is saying to the press. Now, apparently there has been a long history of Harry and the Queen's private secretary butting heads and not getting along. Sir Edward Young, the Queen's private secretary, he has control of the Queen's diary. He's like the gatekeeper to Her Majesty the Queen. And in my opinion, when Harry was talking about, I want to make sure Her Majesty has the right people around her, he was definitely talking about her private secretary. The two of them do not like each other. During the Oprah Winfrey interview, he made a statement where him and Meghan were going to go visit Granny. And then right when he got there, she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't see you." Her calendar all of a sudden changed and she had an appointment she didn't remember. This was around the time of Megxit where people, I guess, were keeping them away from her. And Harry was very, very resentful of the fact that he was being, kept away from his granny. Now, you have to remember, even though he is a prince, he's part of the royal family, and that is his grandmother, you can't talk about state issues during a private visit. There are two separate parts of the royal family. There's the firm, and there's the members of the royal family. They are two separate things. And technically, you're not supposed to talk shop at home. So I can guarantee you Harry and Meghan were probably trying to go in and see Granny for a little private visit and probably trying to slip a couple things under the rug. You know what I mean? Like, "Hey, Granny, can you sign off on this? No one has to know about it," type of thing. And the private secretary was like, "Nope, not happening." No love lost here between the private secretary and Harry. It's been very tense. During this lawsuit, back in 2020, when Harry first appealed to have his, security reinstated to a top-level royal, he sent that letter over to the private secretary to hand over to the Home Office his intentions to pay for his security, which technically it doesn't matter because you cannot hire the Metropolitan Police. The secretary did not pass it on to the group. So now they're saying, well, this is all his fault. This is why he's been downgraded. I'm not being treated fairly. I'm not getting a fair trial. The poor me. So basically, his lawyers are now saying that the decision that was made, and due to the fact that, there was a royal staff member on the board making this decision, he was prejudiced against in regards to the ruling that they brought down. Now, the Home Office did say that they would, weigh his security needs on a case-by-case situation. Like when he went for the Platinum Jubilee, he had top security. If he would have came home for the homecoming for Prince Philip, I am sure he would have had the same security as the rest of the royal family. It just seems odd to me for a person who doesn't even live in the UK, who said that Montecito, California is his home, who, runs amok, hanging out in windows, playing peekaboo at the Platinum Jubilee, rolls down car windows during a crowd where he was booed, is insisting he gets this top-level security. I don't understand it. Why is he pushing for the security? He doesn't even live there. The Duke lost full protection after he stepped back from royal duties in 2020. Without a guarantee of police protection, Prince Harry believes it is too dangerous to bring his family from the U.S. to visit the UK, which his lawyer has previously said is, quote, always will be his home, even though he's told the world it isn't. The Duke's legal team argued the decision about his security by the Executive Committee for the Protection of Royalty and Public Figures, known as RAVAC, was invalid because of procedural unfairness. Harry's legal team went on to say that, quote, he didn't know at that stage that the royal household was involved at all. She said Prince Harry should have been able to make direct representations to RAVAC to ensure his arguments were properly communicated to the committee and been given an opportunity to respond to points being made by others, including members of the royal household. Harry's attorney said his offer to pay for his own police protection was, quote, not conveyed to RAVAC, and so the decision was materially prejudiced. This court action is still at the early stage. Mr. Justice Swift is being asked to decide whether Prince Harry has an arguable case going forward. That decision won't come for another few weeks. However, the written and oral submissions heard in court this morning, most notably that were described as, quote, significant tensions between Prince Harry and the Queen's private secretary, Sir Edward Young. No specifics were read out in court. Sensitive information was kept out of the public hearing. But it does point to the breakdown in relations between the Sussexes and the royal household prior to their move abroad. Whatever Mr. Justice Swift decides, there may be further legal action, as counsel for the Duke of Sussex has indicated a second judicial review claim has been started into whether he should be allowed to fund the security himself rather than having taxpayers pay for it. An offer by Prince Harry's counsel said was made, including in an email to Sir Edward Young in 2020, but which was not passed to RAVAC. So it seems like Harry has a new enemy in his crosshairs. He's definitely gunning for the Queen's private secretary. But again, he has no basis for this, because even if you offer to pay for security, you can't hire the Metropolitan Police. It's like, is he dumb? Does he not get it? Like, literally, there's nothing going on upstairs. Unused muscle. Not to mention, they said they would provide security on a case-by-case basis when they visit the UK. What the hell does this couple want? He doesn't even live there. It makes no sense. Why is he doing this, right? And now he has a second claim that he's ready to file. It's like a dog with a bone. Apparently the Sussexes have money to burn on lawsuits. I guess BetterUp is paying better than we thought. I don't know what to make of it. I told everyone Montecito's his home. He doesn't feel safe there. He barely goes there. I think he's gone there, twice, 3 times in 2 years. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks. But I wonder how Her Majesty feels that Harry is literally attacking her private secretary. This man, Sir Edward Young, is on his hit list. And they're zeroing in and they're pretty much blaming it on him now, saying it's all your fault because you didn't pass it on to RAVAC. So that's going to be very fascinating to see what happened. Now, there's another story that came out, which I'm not 100% sure if it's true or not. I was going to report it in my last video, but I didn't. That apparently the Sussexes spent 4th of July holiday over in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Now, Jackson Hole, Wyoming is kind of the playground of the rich. It's by 3 really fancy ski resorts and 2 national parks, including Yellowstone National Park. There's a lot of activities there. A lot of politicians also own homes there or vacation there. And somebody who was in the audience, saw this big burly man, and he came and he was saving seats for, quote, a family. And then she was like, oh, it must be royalty. And then the next thing she knows, here comes Harry, Meghan, and little Archie. It looks a little suspect, but honestly, from the back, it does look like Harry and Meghan. It's just the whole thing's a little weird. And they're sitting in a crowd of people with one bodyguard. People who are so afraid for their life go to rodeos, the Super Bowl, out in restaurants where they're sitting on the porch and in plain view, Christmas shopping, hanging out in a parade with one bodyguard. But yet when they go to London, they go to the UK, they have to have top military security. Again, what? What is wrong with these people? I don't get it. So I do have the photos here. I wasn't able to find them yesterday, but apparently, this is the interesting part, the lady who posted it on her social media immediately had to delete it. So I'm wondering, was she forced to delete it? Who made her delete it? But the press was able to nab it up right away before it was deleted. Hopefully she was smart and she sold it. I hope she made a buck. You know what I mean? Anyways, so now the press has the pictures, but we don't see Meghan's or Harry's face. So these very well could be fake. She could have pretended the whole thing. There could have been some lookalikes. You know, there are people who are celebrity lookalikes who do this for fun, who do it for a living. It could very well be lookalikes. We don't see the front of them. It looks like them. I would say 95% it is them, but I cannot confirm. We don't see the front. Again, she had to delete it from her social, so that kind of makes me think it was them. And you can see she's wearing the little tank watch from Diana. That thing is permanently tattooed on her arm. If they ever get divorced, he ain't getting it back. That thing's never coming off. Whatever. So the interesting thing is, if it's Harry and Meghan and Archie, I don't think they were just there to visit friends and to celebrate the 4th of July. There's a rumor that there was some kind of political rally with the Democrats going on. Gavin Newsom is there. Again, I was trying to find out what the heck is going on in this area, but there's something to do with politics. And like we talked before, Meghan is trying to jump on the political bandwagon. So I think there's something going on behind the scenes that she's working on with politics. I couldn't tell you what, but I suspect it's not just a family vacation. There's something else going on here, if in fact it was Meghan and Harry. So what do you guys think of these stories? What do you think of Boris Johnson resigning and stepping down? Do you think Theresa May will step up and be voted in as the Prime Minister? What do you think of Harry going after the Queen's private secretary and possibly filing a second claim against the Home Office for private security? And do you believe this was Harry and Meghan in Jackson Hole, Wyoming? Let me know your thoughts, guys. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Please be sure to check out my website and all of my other social media accounts. Thank you for stopping by the channel and have an awesome and amazing day. Bye, guys.